Hey, hey, beautiful people. How are we doing? I am Anitra in Lawson, storyteller, producer, educator, content creator. He is Dr. Andre Evans. He's a game changer, change maker, full-time goofball, and the brother I never wanted. We are the Savage Siblings, and this is the Savage Siblings podcast where we are brutally honest, relentlessly transparent, and unapologetically authentic. As always, we are so glad you guys are rocking with us. Listen, welcome back to part 2. Yes, part 2 of Because I Said So. The last episode, we left off discussing a really interesting season of life, you know, when children become parents to their parents. And I know some of you can relate to that. So as we mentioned in that last episode, that part 1, it got really good to Dre and I, and we chatted much longer than we usually do, which is so sad to say, but it's true. So this is how we got a part 2 that you're now listening to. But if you didn't listen to part 1, I need you to stop. You got to pause right here, right now. Go and listen to part 1. And this is so that you can hear the foundation that we laid about the stages of parenting, right? We talk about going from parenting your kids to coaching your kids to advising your, young adult children, right? We unpack the differences and similarities in between how siblings are parented different by their parents, because Dre and I both had different approaches with our parents. And then how that impacts the way that we parent our children now as adults, right? So we laid a lot of foundation specific to defining the cycles of life. We talked about resolving parenting issues and parenting styles, and all of that leapfrogs into what we're going to discuss in this episode, which is part 2 of Because I Said So. So once you're all caught up, come back here so you can listen if you're ready. Without further ado, this is part 2 of Because I Said So. And the most important question is, hey, are y'all ready to get savage? Okay, good. Let's get savage. I'll kick it back to you, brother. One of the things that we've been talking about is what we kind of labeled the Thanos mentality, in
Right.
terms of just it being inevitable that, listen, we gon' get old, okay, y'all? Like, I
Right.
wish there
Right.
was some sort of limitless elixir
Some
that
some
we could
pool of youth that you pool of endless youth. Yeah. Mm-mm.
that we could
Mm-mm.
inject or take or whatever. But I always say this joke is it's funny. I remember, grandpa saying I gotta get ready for bed. And when you're young, you're like, what does that even mean? Just go to bed.
Right.
Keep
Right.
living. Keep
Right.
living. Because I wonder why our mom would be sleep on the couch or grandpa would sleep on the couch, and I'd be saying, just go get in the bed. Well, here's the thing. As you get older, you can't just go get in bed.
No,
It
you
takes work
cannot.
to take
It's a
your clothes
routine.
off. You gotta
It's a
go and take your
routine.
denture. You got to go and set things up for the next day.
And
Like, so
you
you sleep on the
listen,
couch because you like,
you'll
this is
start to
work.
negotiate some things you can leave to the next day.
Right,
Like, do I really need to shower? Do I
right.
really need to take out these dentures?
Can
do
I
I
sleep in these clothes?
do I really need to brush my teeth?
So it is inevitable that we are definitely, we're all gonna age and all gonna get older. But what are your thoughts, bro, when it comes to this notion of transitioning and how our parents, we got to know that they're going to need our parenting. They're going to need our support. How do we handle the inevitability of getting old?
Of that. And so I wanna go back
Sure,
to
sure.
the resolving for a second in order to
Hmm.
move forward to the transition.
Absolutely.
Because oh my gosh, you definitely hit such a poignant and important part of being able to transition
That's
to the
good. That's
caretaker,
good.
and
Yeah.
that is resolving parenting issues and
Yeah.
resolving parenting styles. Because
Hmm.
if you don't do that, you can't
Hmm.
even contribute to the transition, right?
Right.
You
That's
If
good.
you don't resolve the issues both as a parent or as a child with your parent, you can't even transition to the moment where you can in a
Right.
healthy and well
Healthy
way
way.
be able
That's
to
good.
take care of your parents. And there's a term that psychologists use
Hmm.
called parentification. And so
Mm.
if you think of what is that? What happens to petrific? When a wood piece, when
Mhm.
a tree trunk gets petrified,
Mhm. Yep.
it's
Yep.
stuck in this state that's hardened, that there's no more life, no more growth. Well,
Mhm.
so resolving parenting issues and resolving parenting styles is what actually keeps you as a child from being petrified or being parentified, if
Yes.
you will.
Yeah, that's good.
Um, right? And so when we think of that moment, when we think of that resolving those things, you got to first think about the fact that, well, number one, your parents weren't perfect. You're not perfect as a
Right.
parent, right?
Yep.
And
Yep.
and the beauty of that situation is there were times where we knew mom and dad weren't perfect, but because we had each other as siblings, we could push past
That's good.
emotionally, mentally, behaviorally some of the
Mhm.
imperfections we saw. We could look at each
Mhm.
other and say, "Yeah, mom didn't get that right.
Yeah.
Dad getting that right." But we could also look with each other and say, "But hey, Nick, we'll get it right with our
We'll get it
kids.
right.
So let's
Mhm.
push
Mhm.
past this moment."
That's
But
good.
some of the problem is when the apology doesn't come, and apology can go a long way. I can't tell you how many times Daniela and I have had conversations where I've said, baby girl, I'm really sorry I wasn't there."
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and 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 that is what gave her the capacity to
Mhm.
allow me to parent her,
That's so good. Yep.
right? Instead of
Mhm.
petrify her.
Yes. Oof.
Because
Ooh,
if I
parent
don't
versus petrify.
apologize, if I
That's good.
don't if I don't acknowledge that I'm not perfect as a parent, it petrifies
Mhm.
her. And I mean in every single extent of the word, not only does it harden her to not want to give and risk and be vulnerable as a child with me, she'll actually refuse the care that I want to give, which means refuse the care that she may naturally want to give as my child. So you got to be able to apologize. You got to be able to resolve. But what happens a lot of times when parents don't do that is they
Mhm.
push their child into the role of a caretaker or the role of some of kind of like a referee or a peer with a parent, and that's obviously that is detrimental to the relationship of the parent or the child, right?
Yes.
Because when you push your child into being your peer, push your child to being a caretaker because you haven't resolved your parenting
So
issues, you
good.
haven't resolved
Oof.
your parenting
Jesus.
style issues. Now all of a
Oof.
sudden your children are being developed inappropriately
Yep.
for lifelong adult situations.
Ooh,
When we look at
that's
that
good.
parentification, man, we're looking at this moment where there's this life spectrum, this life cycle, and all
Mhm.
you've done is you've caused hurt in different stages of your kid's life cycle. Kids that are parentified, they often need all this kind of inner child work. And here's my example to
Mm.
that.
Mhm.
When I finally became the father I needed to be for Daniela, she regressed
Wow.
and went back to almost 5 years old in
Yeah.
her 20s
Yeah.
because that's the last time she saw me operate as a father. And I
My
missed so
lord.
many years for
My
so
lord.
many reasons. I had to
Yeah.
resolve that. And in
Yeah.
the regression, I then had to say, "Oh, what I had to recognize is, wait, she's allowing me to be a parent here. So let me
Yeah.
go on. Let me
Do it.
let
Yes.
me let me do it. Let me
Yeah.
step up and be the parent I need to be. Let me step up and be and help her through this season, this phase of me saying, "No, I am your father. Let me
And can
take
I
you
just say
through it."
something real quick
Yeah,
here, bro?
absolutely.
Just really quick. That's a huge shout out to any of you that might be in that position, right? The
Absolutely.
humility and the courage it takes that, yes, you might be 45, 55 years old when you have this resolve with your child. But parent, don't say you're too busy. Don't say it's too late. Don't say, "Oh,
Right.
well, I missed
Amen.
the opportunity." When that opportunity presents, that's a gift from God, and you
Yeah.
step into it. And I just want to applaud you for not allowing anything from your pride to fear to
Yeah,
just
absolutely.
that mindset is too, it's too late. Like none of that seeping in. So just good for you. I just wanted to say that. So go
And
right ahead.
here's how that looks for those of you hearing this message in this moment. Before Daniela allowed me to step into the phase of parenting, she was a serious kid.
Yeah.
Everything was serious. Everything was professional. Everything was stoic. Everything.
Mm-hmm.
When
Agree.
I said, "I'm sorry I wasn't there for you, baby girl. I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry, but let's go do let's do what we can now. Let's do
Oof.
how did I put it? I'm sorry I wasn't there." And I would say something y'all might laugh, but it was so great for the moment. But can we go get ice cream and talk about it right now?
That's so
Yeah,
good.
I want to
Ooh,
make sure
God.
y'all heard what I just
I
said.
feel that. Oof,
Can we go get
Jesus.
ice cream and talk about it right now?
Mm, mm, mm,
Can we
mm.
can we can we
Thank you, Lord.
go to the amusement? Can you meet me at Disney World and we can just hang?
Mm,
Right? So
never
I'm
too late.
doing these things, and here's what changed in that moment. And here's why, Nikki, what you said is so poignant. Take the opportunity when they allow you to be the parent.
Mm,
Even if you haven't been, take the opportunity because Daniela stopped being so serious. I saw
yeah,
Daniela be the 5-year-old girl
yeah.
and then the 6-year-old girl and then the
Mm,
7-year-old girl. And
thank you,
slowly she
Father.
caught up to being where we were in reality. In other words, I saw her go from these grandiloquent professional words to this childlike laughing, playing in the rain,
Yes.
being
Yep.
silly. And when she moved there, I remembered what it was like being a parent for Corinne and Corey. I got to be silly
Hmm.
again. I
So
got to
good.
be childlike. I got to be, and it wasn't a peer to peer thing. It was a, hey, I remember doing this with Corinne and Corey. We were doing things that Corinne and Corey and I did when they were young and had a
Yeah.
joy, and it deepened our relationship. And that's why I
Yeah.
said now at the end of my life cycle, Daniela's gonna look at me and my wife and be like, no,
100%.
y'all living with me. Y'all ain't finna
100%.
go to no home. Y'all
Hmm.
living with me.
Hmm.
I'm finna take care of y'all. And don't get me wrong, friend, she'll be there. she'll
Yeah.
she'll
Right. Right.
she'll check in.
And
Corey,
Corey
she'll
will
be
too.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
100%.
but it's because yes, Nikki, you're so poignant when you said that. When they show you that they're going to
Mm,
allow you to be the parent, be the
mm,
parent.
do
When they
it.
allow you to move into coaching, be the coach.
Yes. No
Hold
matter what
off the
time it is.
advisement phase as long as you can
Yes.
because that you don't want to miss those first two phases. So yeah, is it
Yes.
inevitable? That's why I'm saying this. Yes, it's
Hmm.
inevitable. You're going to become old one day and you're going to
Hmm.
look at them. They're going to look at you and watch this based on how you move through those phases Nikki talked about. That's going to
Hmm.
let you know how your end of cycle, your full circle,
Yeah.
how it's going to come to fruition. It's going to let you know. And so then from the kid point, so now I just talk from the parent point. It's
Hmm.
inevitable mom and dad, they're at the age where we're saying, all right, I need y'all to think about what the next season of your life looks like, which means whether you like it or not, you're no longer independent.
Yep.
You're no longer independent.
Nope.
You ain't finna just be living by yourself in an apartment, dad.
Nope.
You know, mm-mm. And here's the thing: if he says I'm gonna go live with my siblings, cool. I know there's gonna be a season where he can't live with them. All right, Dad. Now it's time.
Yeah.
Now it's time to come. And it's the thought process as a kid. And this is why I said it's so important that you operate in the phase your children are inviting you in.
Hmm.
Because at some point you're going to impact how they think of you when you're that age. And here's the thing. They can think of you as a burden,
Mm.
or instead,
Right.
they can think of their new role in your life as not necessarily parenting their parent, but instead they can think of themselves as a trusted ally and resource for your life becoming great at the end of life. And I think you
Yeah.
kind of hinted on that earlier. At
Hmm.
some point, when you balance out the relationship you need to have when you're walking through these phases as a parent, and when they
Hmm.
if your parents balanced it out with you, at some point, it's just like you said, Nikki. When you become the parent, when the child becomes the child has to be able to say, "How do I make the best life
Your best. Yeah.
for my parent?"
Yep.
And I'm gonna
Improve,
do it
enhance it.
because they did the best life they could give me as they
Hmm.
operated through the different phases that I allowed them into. And so you don't look at it as a burden. You don't look at it as I gotta take. I don't even want to look at it as caretaking. What I want to look
Right.
at it
Right.
as I'm a resource for my mom and dad so that they can have the
Yes.
best life they
Best
can
life.
have at end of
Hmm.
life.
That's
And
so
that's
good.
how I look at it. And the other thing is that mindset promotes a healthier lifestyle,
There
a
it is.
healthier
You just said
lifestyle
it. Yep.
overall. And the
Yep.
reason why it does is because when you think of it as a burden, when you think of yourself as caretaker, you
Hmm.
end up letting that role, caretaker, define your whole
Hmm.
relationship.
Your relationship. That is it. Oof.
And we can't
Jesus.
do that. That'll wear you out. you'll get burdened. No, I'm gonna say, Dad, now that you with me, my wife, or Daniela, I know her, she gonna say,
Mm-hmm.
Dad, now that you and your wife are with us, it's time to make new memories.
That's
It's
so
time to
good in
make
this
new
season. Yes.
goals, new life
Yep.
achievements. It's
Yep.
not time to look back and say, dog, I can't do this no more.
Mm-hmm.
I can't do this. No, no, no. It's time to make new stuff. It's a new season, new stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how I would be. And that's because that's the relationship that mom and dad gave us, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, there's still things that I know mom wants to do, and I can't wait to have the opportunity. Maybe we could do some of those things together. But that's
100%.
because when she was raising and rearing me, there was a lot of times where it was like, Andre, let's do something new. What do
Yeah.
you want to do? And same thing with dad. Dad was always, because like you said, dad is always saying, hey, I just need you. I want you to live your best life. I'm here to support. I'm here for you.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you can
Mm-hmm.
dream, get after that thing.
Get after
Get
it.
after it. So yeah, while it's inevitable, they're going to
Yeah.
eventually need us to raise them. I think the mindset behind it. I'm not a caretaker. No, I'm a resource and an ally so that my parents can have the best life they can have at end of life. And I'm gonna do it with. We're gonna make memories. We're gonna make new moments that are going down to just create this great uh, experience of life.
I love it. And I think it's fair to also just to acknowledge that it is challenging.
Yeah, it is.
Looking at that process and recognize that and be okay saying, okay, this is not going to necessarily be as easy, but it doesn't have to be terrible or difficult or hard
Right.
either to look at my parents getting older, to look at myself getting older. I
Right.
know I remember when our dad first got rid of all his teeth and got dentures.
Oh
And I
my
just
God.
remember going, is that father sitting at this family event? Did he just take them
He
teeth
took his.
out
He just took his
and
teeth
started
out.
eating in front of everybody?
Yes, he
And
did.
he had the nerve to get a corn on the cob or something. And I was like, you know, you shouldn't be eating that. You should have went for the mashed potatoes. Like what is going on? And we laugh at it, but there's a moment when you go, whoa, I'd like
Hmm.
that's my dad. Like
Yeah.
mom for me growing up was superwoman, like
Right.
point blank, period. And
Yeah.
it's tough sometimes for those of you who have moms and dads like that that look Herculean, that look like, and then you kind of have to eventually say, yeah, she's super-ish woman.
Right.
she,
Right.
she's slightly above
She's
ordinary
what
woman.
do you call it? She's super adjacent.
Super adjacent. There you go,
Yeah.
right? Like, she's still dope, but yeah, I can see life is age to sit in, and so
Right.
it's not easy to do it. But I agree. I had a
Right.
note here, and I love that Brober already mentioned it. That two things. One, it's inevitable in terms of human nature. We also push against that aging process. I think this is the reason why you got men in their 70s that will still try to holler at a 20-year-old because
Right.
it's up to them. They be like, "Girl, if you only knew."
I
And she's
still
like,
got it.
"Grandpa." Like, what? Like,
Man,
so we
you ain't
push
got nothing
against
but
it. No,
arthritis. You better
right.
sit down
And a
somewhere.
prescription to Viagra, right? That's it.
Right,
Nothing else
right.
is happening, right? But so it is hard for us to kind of embrace it, but I love what you say about mindset. Mindset really does equip you to embrace it, and Bro is right. I
Hmm.
think, you spoke about it from, I think, the standpoint of the child and not going into it as a burden, but taking it as more as a blessing. But
Right.
um, it's even helping your parent have the mindset shift.
Absolutely.
Two quick things that I just want to point out. Our grandfather really talked to our mom when he was on his deathbed. As our grandfather, my mom's an only child, and well, actually, she had two siblings, but they passed away. And then my grandmother, and he, grandpa was very hurt that he
Hmm.
realized that he was going to leave this earth and leave his daughter and and his wife, and that was
Hmm.
very frustrating. So our mom talked about, those last days, him talking to her. And one of the things that he said, which I just thought was so profound, and it gave me so much perspective on how he was caregiving as a spouse, which is a different role in a different episode. But he told our mom, give grandma the small wins.
Yeah.
He said,
Yeah.
this is a man who, I mean, what, Dre? They were married
Oh
well
man.
over 60 years, right? Like
Yeah.
60, I mean,
Yeah.
decades.
Marriages
And
that don't exist anymore.
that don't exist anymore. And
Yeah.
he had, walked through them both losing two children that
Yeah.
died in my grandmother's arms.
Yeah.
Her being highly intelligent during that generation and not being allowed to get past like a 6th or 7th grade education, always
Right.
feeling very trapped. And so, Grandpa said to our mom, she has had a life where she's felt slighted and cheated and right, wrong, or indifferent. That's what she felt. So when he would give her little boxes of chocolates and things like that, he was
Mhm.
going after the small wins for
Yeah.
that mindset,
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
mindset. And you guys don't know this, but our grandmother, she struggled with her weight, obesity, things like that.
Mhm,
And
mhm.
from the outside looking in, we would be like, Grandpa, why you keep bringing her that pie? Why you keep
Right.
bringing her them cookies?
Right, right.
But I never understood until mom told me what grandpa said on his deathbed. And he
Mm,
said she's not going to, she's going for give her the small things because
yeah,
so many larger things she hasn't resolved or she resolved and just kind of relegated to this is my life. So you do
right.
the small things. So after he passed, our mother then set up family things where people would come over and play cards. She made sure the house was
Yes,
was welcoming. And that's about
yes.
that mindset
Right,
that, I'm also here going to I can't parent her. She ain't finna do nothing different from her
right,
diet. It ain't happening. She
right,
ain't finna take no coaching. So the
right.
best I can do is just kind of give her the small victories, open our house,
Absolutely.
bring family around. And I think
Yeah.
that's so important for us to help our parents even have the best mindset. I used to do 5K runs and walks when I was in Florida. And me and some
Mhm.
FAMU folks, we would do those as well. And bro, we would run a little bit and then we walk. Then we run a little
Right,
bit and then we
right,
walk. And
right.
so we were getting down to the end of this 5K. And now, mind you, we're in our 20s. There's a couple of professors probably in their 40s, and we're in a little group. I kid you not. I hear this kind of, this, it wasn't really a super loud voice, but this man, he yells, on your left, 90-year-old firecracker coming through.
Love it.
And mind you, we're kind of walking and we should be running because we can see the finish line. And we all
Right,
turn and bro. Now this man is speed walking because he is 90 or maybe
right,
older
right,
than 90.
right,
Now it's not a beautiful, like Hercules DNA type
right,
run. This
right,
is not
right.
someone that you could tell his whole family is, it's not there. No, he looks every bit of 90 years
There
old. But his mindset,
That's
when I
it.
tell you it parted the red, we all was like, "Go ahead. You
Right.
deserve to go right
Go
on
ahead,
past us."
Moses. Go ahead,
And it was
Moses.
and he was just a trucking with his little speed walk, his little hips was just going as much as they can. And I
Right.
said, "Now that right there, that's what
Yeah,
I'm talking about. That's
yeah.
that mindset." And so we have to, encourage our parents as they go through it and ourselves too, that your mindset
Mhm.
matters. And you already really
Mindset
pointed that out
absolutely
so
matters.
well. But
Yeah.
help them also have that mindset of I'm a 90-year-old firecracker coming through. He
I
was like,
love
on
it.
your left.
I love it.
We turned
I
like,
love
what?
it.
He was
Come
like,
on,
let's
Captain
go.
America. On your
Right?
left. Come on.
Said, all right, make it happen. So here's a great question though, in terms of looking at, the inevitability. So, this assumes that we have siblings, but not always, but who actually gets to parent? Like,
Yeah.
how do you determine who should be or parenting or, or coaching or advising? Who needs to step up? How does that, how do we unpack that?
In my just very profound and professional recommendation, I think what determines that is rock, paper, scissors,
Right, clearly.
drawing straws. Any of those methods will work
Highly
just
expert
fine.
analysis.
Highly expert opinion. Any of those will do. No, no, I think a
Best out of
lot
5,
of
best
it
out of 5.
again. Right, right. Until I win, it's gonna be the best out of.
Right.
Until I win.
Right.
Uh, 'cause, I think a lot of it has to do with which parent it is.
Yeah.
And now if the parents are married, then which sibling it is. And this is what I
Yeah, that's
mean
a good
by
point.
that.
Mhm.
If the parents are not married, it's which parent it is, then it's which sibling was closer to that parent, has a
Yeah,
better
that's a good
relationship with
point.
that
Wow.
parent.
Look, poor
And
Malachi.
yeah, right.
Shout out to the only children. I don't have that
Right.
option.
Right. Right. Right.
Default.
So
Default.
we'll refer Malachi to a different episode, a different podcast, like Savage
Right.
Solo. Like
Right.
he can go listen
Default.
to that one. But as for those of us who have siblings, we're
That's
in
for
the
me in
right
my
place for
house.
this conversation. So
That's so
I
funny.
think that's what it is. Because if we look at even our own situation, I think it would have always have been, even when we joke and
Yeah.
laugh, mom would have gravitated towards you by your
Yeah.
conversation. dad
Yeah.
would gravitate towards me by
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
conversation, right? We would never have
Yeah.
to ask mom or dad. We would have just been like, "No, you got mom, I got dad,"
Yeah.
because of our personalities and our
Sure.
relationship, right? Now,
Mm-hmm.
had they been married, I think that would have been a different
Oh
Well, that
yeah.
definitely would have been a
Would
different
have been different. Sure.
conversation. And I don't know which way that would go. I think it
Yeah.
would be
Yeah.
depends on which one has the most senility.
Yeah. Yes.
Because whoever's the most senile,
Right.
that's
I
the
gotta
one
be
that's
like,
going to be the
I'm gonna
biggest
come help you.
difficulty.
Right.
So in this
That's when we
case,
intervene with the other spouse. Like,
right,
okay, what's the
right.
plan?
Depends on who got the most senility at that point. 'Cause
Right. I'm gonna
listen,
hold him down. What are you gonna do?
right? I'm like, if dad is the most senile, I think they're both coming with you. If mom is the most senile, they might be coming with me because me and dad could probably manage mom.
Right. And if it's dead, all hands off. Everybody leaving.
Right?
Crickets.
So but no, no, I'm serious though.
Yeah.
Those are relationship type issues. So I think in those scenarios, it really is about, what's the circumstance? It's not cookie cutter. What's the
Yeah.
circumstance? Which personalities get along better? Well,
Yeah.
which relationship dynamics? Also, then, which household has the greater dynamics for the need,
Oh, you
right?
better teach. You better teach. That's a
Right?
big part.
Malachi
Yep.
is so enriched and blessed because Nana's there.
Yes.
Well,
Multi-generation. Yep.
Danielle is an
Mm-hmm.
adult, but Quinn and Corey wouldn't have been impacted like Malachi is because they're
100%.
so
Mm-hmm.
independent. And so
Yeah.
they would have been like, Nana, can you go sit down? Can you please go
Right.
sit down somewhere?
Right.
Like, and you get out of our way, Nana. Nana, can you get out of the kitchen?
Wait, I have to tell you the funniest story, just real quick here. When Nana she went to visit Corey, Corinne, and Katina for one of the holidays, but so she she gets up early. Nana's an early riser, and she's also loud. The Dangerfield family, they
The
just don't know how
Dangerfield
to get the
family. Mhm.
decibels of their voice right. And God bless my niece Corey. She woke up like she was sleeping in the room, but Mama's so loud her voice was carrying through. But because she was like, Nana, you're my Nana and I love you. She was like, but if you weren't my Nana, I would have come out here about 3 hours ago and been like, please keep it down. And I was like,
Right.
I said, yep, it's so glad that she doesn't live with her full time because that would turn into a
Listen.
full out argument. But she
So,
said,
yes.
because you're my Nana and I love you, I
Right.
just dealt with it for the last 3 hours.
Yeah.
Your voice is loud, just so you
Yeah.
know.
Right. And see,
And
those are
I
the
was
dynamics
screaming.
I'm talking about. Like,
Right.
like I'd have been like, for the sanctity of my home and peace with my own children. Nah,
Right.
ma, you gotta go stay with Nikki. Like, you can't.
Mother-in-law
Nah, nah.
cottage in the back.
Right. Listen, there's a what do you call that? There's a pup tent in the back and an
Right.
air mattress. Right. That's what you can
And
do.
a hose.
Right. To wash yourself off. That's what
And
you
get
can
some
do.
water.
Right. I
Oh, I
get you one of
love
them
it.
solar panels that maybe generate some heat for you, but that's as close you getting. Because again, it's the dynamics of the relationship, it's the dynamics of the home. And the beautiful thing
Mm,
though is Malachi is going to return that in kind to you when it comes time.
sure,
Really, it
sure.
really is. And that's whereas me, I already told you my situation. I'm gonna be with Daniela.
The way my
The other two
situation
gonna
set up
leave me
is.
out to dry. They're gonna leave me out to dry. That's
Well,
is what it is.
let me add this because this is really weird for me, especially because we've been talking about my dynamics with our dad. But I'm gonna put this out there, listeners. Y'all can clap back. Y'all can correct me. I'm open to it. I tend to believe that girls take care of their papas and boys take care of their mamas when we get to this space. And the only reason why I want to point it out is a lot of my closest best friends, those from Kansas, those that are here, all and they're not all actually daddy's girls, but it's just already clear. And then a lot of my male friends who have daughters, like some of them were like going to their wives like, "Nah, we got to keep going till I get a girl. 'Cause the girl gonna take care of me at the end
Right.
of the day." Like, yeah, I got my boy, but I definitely need a girl, right?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
it's funny as I listen to it from different aspects. I was like, But I find myself now, bro, thinking about I got to talk to dad. I got to see, like, I find myself aware of it and open
Mhm.
to
Mhm.
what is this space in terms of just making sure he's good. We've already, clearly articulated he is advisory all the way, and so that's kind of how we have to handle it with him. But I
Right.
tend to think that yeah, that there's something about girls when it's healthy, when everything is healthy and dynamic, taking care
Mhm.
of their papas and boys, certainly looking out for their moms. Because I definitely feel that way for Malachi and me. So, what do you think about that?
I think your key there is when it's healthy,
When it's
right?
healthy, yeah, yeah.
But then the question becomes, statistically speaking, when is it healthy,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Because
Those
I would tell
numbers.
you that the majority of that in that scenario situation, the majority, I would say that girls have a tendency to want to take care of their dads and their moms. Boys have a
Yeah.
tendency to not want to take care of anybody.
Anybody? All right, so we want the listeners to let us know your
Right.
thoughts on that for sure. The
Yeah.
only thing I would say I would point out is that there is also, and Dre kind of pointed this out in the last little piece about the honor, and taking care of your parents. There's some of us that have two things. One, some people really do just think it's an honorable thing, like you value it. You think
Absolutely.
about the healthy circumstances that your parents, the sacrifices they made, all that they sowed into you, and so and it's great, I think, when your mindset is about that honor, because it also means you're not controlling. It
Oh
also
yeah.
means you
Oh
can
yeah.
really clearly delineate and kind of differentiate when you need to parent, coach, and advise. And it also means if you have siblings, you're also not trying to dictate because you're happy to contribute in whatever capacity that the season needs, understanding that it might
Hmm.
shift. And so I definitely think for those of us that have the mindset about the honor and giving back to our parents, ideally when it's been healthy, it's easier. But even when it hasn't been healthy, some of us just have that mindset. And the other thing is some of us are natural caregivers,
Sure.
naturally empathetic,
Sure.
naturally have the gift of help or giving, and it's innate in you. And so, that's good. That means you can use that to also give that to your parents. You could use that to help a sibling that maybe is taking on the lion's share at a certain season to say, okay, well, how can I support you as you support them? And I definitely think when it comes down to who gets to parent, siblings have to consider that. Like, is Dre better at managing finances? Is
Yeah. Yeah.
Dre better at talking to dad? Is he just a little bit more empathetic in that way? Can he do this? And if so, let me allow him to operate in those gifts and find out where I can be supportive in a different area.
Right.
But it does mean that you kind of set aside and really not set aside, but resolve any past so that you can focus on, as Andre already said, on
Hmm.
really, being a blessing there too. So, what about unique circumstances, bro? Or any thoughts you want to add there? Because sometimes, like you
Yeah.
said, divorce, separated, etc.
Well, what I want to add to the uniqueness there is you one of the areas you also have to see. So, like in life right now, you as my sister are at a different season of life activities as I am.
Mm-hmm.
And so
Right.
what I mean by that is this isn't the season for me to be taking care of a parent because I still want to travel. I want to I have life things I want to do that require me to be away from the home a lot.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so then what am I doing? Am I boarding mom or dad like they're a pet? Like
Right.
because some places I'd
Checking
love
three, please.
right. I'd love to take them with me, but are they going to
Yeah.
slow me down?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So
Yeah.
so I think there's also that life activity
Mm-hmm.
stage that one
Mm-hmm.
sibling's in versus the other. And that's not to say you don't have the aspirations of going, but you also
No.
have Malachi, right? So
Right. So
there's
it's a
some things you
family.
can't do.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
about to be an empty nester, so the
Yep.
world is wide open to me.
Yep. Yep.
And so there may be some things that I'm saying to myself, wait a second, I didn't get to do this while I was
Now I can do it.
raising Corinne and
Mhm.
Corey, while I was parenting and becoming a father to Daniela. But now that
Mhm.
I'm an empty nester, there's some stuff I want
Mhm.
to do. If I bring in a parent who I have to parent, now I
Mhm.
can't do it.
Right.
Nah,
Right.
and so sometimes it's what season of life activities are they in? Will I always be
That's
that way?
good.
No. And 10,
Mm-mm.
20 years from now, I'm like, okay, I'm ready to settle down and just I ain't ready to go anywhere. Well,
Yeah.
10 years from now, if that becomes the case, then now I'm saying, hey, Nick, you need a break.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because then you're moving into empty nester.
Mhm.
Nick, you need a
Mhm.
break. All right,
Mhm.
cool. And mom, that's the other thing. Poor mom and dad. That's the other
Right,
thing.
right.
Like, wait, I'm settled here in LA. Now I gotta move to San Diego. Why? Because I said so.
'Cause I said so.
Because it's my turn to go out. I'm finna be an empty nester. You finna go
Well, what
live with
about
your son.
when
I
is
don't
no
know.
well,
I
how
don't hear
about
no back
new?
talk. I know I don't hear no back talk. Pack your bag. I know y'all don't hear no back talk.
Be sitting out on the front lawn with a bag and it's clutching one bag, just
Listen,
waiting to be picked up.
listen, listen. And
That's
I'm gonna
so
roll
good.
up whenever I get there too.
Right, and you're gonna wait patiently. But you bring up a good point because it's two-sided too. Like the season that you're in terms of,
Right.
traveling and you're empty nesting. But even what's good for the parent, which you kind of already said that too, but this has been perfect for mom to kind of really spark a new season in her life.
Ooh,
Because you
yeah, yeah,
can get
yeah.
to late 60s, 70s, and when you're unmarried, if you have, a spouse that's deceased or whatever the circumstance, and start feeling like, okay, this is kind of it. And so it was a blessing for us too that she came, and then now she's got a grandson that's a middle schooler,
Yes, yes.
and she loves education. So all the people at the school know her and the PTA folks know her. And I'm like, look at mom up here with all these 30 and 40-year-old
Mhm,
parents, and,
mhm.
and she's 70 plus and can run the building. And so that's what I love about the conversation of the
Yeah,
unique, circumstances of what makes the most sense in this season. And in
right.
this case, it's given her activity. She wasn't hardly walking when she moved here. Now she walks 5 miles a day. And that
Absolutely.
came from being connected to her grandson, to me,
Yes,
and
yes.
that's the space that she needed to be in. And so I totally agree is that you have to really analyze it. And you already mentioned for health concerns, I always laugh at the fact that our grandfather built a like house long ramp for our grandmother for because she
Right,
was in a wheelchair. It's not just a ramp that's like a couple of feet. It was like the
right.
length of the
It
side of
was
the house
yes, it
because
was.
that's how he could
Yes.
build it, right? But it had to come down to this is what the need is to
That right.
support, this season of our grandmother. And so our mom understood, this house has been designed for them in these latter years. I have another good friend who her parents don't want her to, air quote, stop her life to take care of them. So bro,
Yeah.
they purchased the house next to the house that they've lived in their whole
Oh,
life,
wow.
and they have spent the last 10 years designing it, retrofitting it for wide doors, all one level, and setting it up because their bottom line was, "Yes, daughter, we know you love us. Yes, we know you would drop everything at the drop of a dime to come and take care of us, but we're going to," and this goes back to your point about when your children allow you to, well, the parents have to allow it too. And
Yes, they
so
do.
their bottom line is, we don't want you to parent or to coach. If anything, there's advisory. So we're going to do everything in our power to make sure that you can continue to live life. So they've got it set up that when they get to a point to where they can't take care of each other or themselves, they can literally move in next door to this home
Right
that's
next
been
door. That's
designed for them,
good.
and
That's
then their
good.
main house is now open for them to hire someone. That person
Absolutely.
can
That's
stay
good.
there and then help for them. And so, it's a family effort. It's a two-way street.
It
It's
really
something
is.
that's broader, but if you're not talking about it, you're not going to get to that point. So, how do you think parents, or whether do we parent or coach or advise once we have made this transition and
Make the
now we
transition.
actually are bringing them there? What are your thoughts on that?
So that's where I think like it's each situation is going to be unique. So for us,
Mhm.
right, you have the physical care of mom,
Yeah.
but together we have the emotional, the mental, behavioral care of mom, right? So
Mhm.
there, that's
Yep.
why I have to.
That's good.
So what do you do? Well, we understand that Nikki, these are the things that you bring to the table as a
Mhm.
village participant to raise
Yeah, that's
mom.
good. That's
So
good.
then Andre knows that he's got to check in with mom emotionally and mentally
Yeah.
and see how she's
Yeah.
doing. And I do. And oftentimes Nikki, I don't call you and say, "Hey, I checked on mom emotionally," because that's
Yeah.
because she may be saying I'm sick and tired of Nikki. So I'm not going
You're
to
right.
say that. So I'm
Right.
not going to
"Help
tell you.
me, help
Right,
me."
right. So like so I check on her so she can pour out so that then she can continue to have a daughter and I can continue to have a sister,
Yes,
right?
yes.
so
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 I
I
don't
just
die.
that's right. So I check on her. But so that's what I bring to the table because I can't bring
Yeah.
the physical environment. I
Mhm.
bring then. So it's what do you bring to the table now? Because
That's good.
it's not just Nikki, you took on mom.
Right.
We did. I just have a
Absolutely.
different role. I'm
Yeah.
not just going to be the one that takes on dad. We're going to take on dad.
Absolutely.
You just have a different role.
Absolutely.
And we to me it's that life support, right? It's
Yeah.
At some point we're gonna have the conversation about, the finances. We're gonna have the
Mm-hmm.
conversation about the health
Mm-hmm.
decisions. We're gonna have the
Mm-hmm.
conversation about, again, end of life care
Yeah.
for both
Yeah.
mom and dad.
Yeah.
I'll bring what I can to the table for mom. You'll bring what you can for mom. I'll bring what I can for dad. You'll bring what you
Yeah.
can for dad. So
Yeah.
it's just bringing your absolute best to the table because mom and dad brought their absolute best that they
Best.
could for you
That's so
in
good. That's so
raising and
good.
rearing. So to me, that's kind of, it's not cookie cutter, but how do
Right.
you do it? You look at whatever the village. Everybody
Yeah.
brings their best from the village,
I
and
love
do
it.
what we
And
can.
I would just add play to your strengths too. Like be
Yes.
clear. Andre is definitely more parent coach oriented. I'm definitely more coach advisor oriented. And
Mm-hmm.
I have
Mm-hmm.
no problem calling in for backup when we made the decision. And I say we made it. He and I made the decision to
No, we
relocate our
did.
mom.
We
Yeah.
did.
I had been kind of seeing some things, was worried, was thinking
Yeah.
about her living by herself. And so, but I'm much more of, my nature is more advisory,
I
gentle coaching.
remember what it
Yeah.
was is like you kept wanting to say, no, just let's just see how she does. Let's just see how she does. And I was like, no, we finna take her to this
Nope.
park. We finna sit her down and we finna tell her what she gonna do. And that's
Right.
exactly what we did.
And that's my
Because
point.
yeah, we did like, no, Nikki would be like, no, mom, you can make it there. You all right. You'll let us know when you want to know. I was like, nah,
I'm
you
telling you,
ready now. You ready
I was
now.
advisor. I was like, "You're gonna have to get a dog, an alarm. You're gonna need to get
Right.
a gun. We're gonna have, I'm going through all the advisory things, and that's my point is play to your strengths. My brother has
Lady
no
shrimp.
problem when it comes to our parents and just saying, no, this is what it is. I'm gonna rip the Band-Aid off, and you guys are gonna deal. And so I knew to call him. I knew I was like, hey, we got to figure this out because
Yeah.
if you're seeing what I'm seeing, it's an issue. And I think that's the thing about when you're getting to these,
And I'm
life
gonna tell you
support
something.
decisions.
I'm gonna tell you. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. This is how you know it's time to parent your child. And I know I'm getting ahead of myself because the things you knew, mom knew not to tell me.
Right, she wasn't telling you at all.
She knew not to tell me because when you were saying
Nope.
some of the things, I was like, "What?
I
What?
was like, "Yeah,
What?"
this is happening, and have
Right?
you noticed?"
No, no.
She was like,
I was
"Intervention!"
intervention, nothing. I was grabbing my belt. I'm
Right.
like, listen. Yeah. She knew not to tell me the stuff she told you. But
Uh,
boy, looky here. Looky here. And,
and
I'm
the
gonna tell
only
you what
thing
I'm
go
gonna
ahead, go
tell you
ahead.
what's funny. Boy, can listen, because mom's a snitch,
Right.
right? I love the fact that you snitched on her.
Oh,
I
100%.
love it. I love it. I know
100%.
because I know
knew
there
it.
were a couple of times in that conversation she looked at you like, "Did you really tell him that?
Oh, it was a whole thing. She was just kinda
Did you really
I
tell him
can't
that?"
believe. And then we
Right,
we had that silent, car ride
right.
back home after the intervention
It was so
meeting,
quiet.
and
It
she
was
just
so
didn't,
quiet.
and, she talks, so for her
Right,
not talking, and I'm
right.
kinda driving going, "So what do you want for dinner?"
She just
"I don't know.
she holding back the tears like she got reprimanded.
Whatever you want is fine."
Look
I was like,
right
"Oh,
now.
no."
She's looking at you like, "I hate that woman. I hate that woman."
Just like when we were kids,
Like
like, "I
we
hate
kid.
her." She'd be
She went
mumbling in the
straight to
back.
her room. I hate that woman. Yeah, cause she got it that day, boy.
Oh
She got
god,
it that
so
day, boy.
you
Oh
have
my
to though, you
god.
have to and even if you don't have siblings, that's a cousin, that's a best friend, that's a pastor, it's extended person that can help you, push through it because yeah, at once you are moving into that space of parenting, coaching, advising, caregiving,
Mhm.
once they're with you, there's gonna be lots of things, and like my brother said, it's not cookie cutter, but,
It's not.
it's just definitely something that you just, work through, so lean towards your strength, call for backup. Okay, are we ready to jump into the transformational perspective?
Yeah, transformational perspective. That counterpoint, boy. So we're talking about, all the things that kind of point out the readiness to begin to parent
Mhm.
your parent. But the counterpoint is not every child is meant to parent or take
Right.
care of their
Nope,
parent. And
nope.
and and I have seen that in real time. I'm looking at some 40
Yes.
or 50-year-olds and I'm saying,
Mm.
yeah, well, you should have grown out of that. Like, right, why you ain't got life together right now. Like, I don't understand how you can't even take care of
Mm.
yourself. I feel
Nope.
bad for your parents. So now there's
Mm.
definitely this evaluation that has to because yeah, there are some children that they are definitely not meant to parent their parent. They
Right.
need to be picking up brochures to a really nice senior citizen community, like you
And
really
then work
yeah,
on their own thing.
and then work just come
Work
on,
on
man.
yourself.
Right. Absolutely.
No, it's so true. It's like if you know you're still working on you, use wisdom and don't try to
Don't do
add
it. Don't
add
do it.
that to your situation.
Mhm.
I also think there's some wisdom in, if you don't, I mean, this is the reality. I'm just going to say it. Some parents and children just don't get along. They just do
Right.
not have the
Right.
same value system. They are worlds apart in terms of
Right.
just how things flow. And I think there's wisdom in saying, hey, I am going to help, but I am not going to try to take this on
Right.
because we don't vibe. And I mean, we can all
Right.
think of examples. I can think of a couple of our cousins where, yeah, they grew up, moved out, and they just know I'm not supposed to really come back. We love each other at a distance, and
Mhm.
that's okay.
Mhm.
And so, really discerning if that's where you are can be a good thing. And a lot of times the parents know it too, so they'll also won't choose it or won't won't think, oh yeah, I'm gonna go stay with
Mhm.
Nikki. We just have different values. We have different lifestyles, and that's been proven over decades, and that's okay. And then
Mhm.
the last thing I would say, and this is something that our mom had to really help me understand, which I don't know. I think you have a really good handle on it, but really also determining your capacity. I'm not
Yeah.
talking about financially,
Right,
and I'm
right.
not talking about the fact that maybe you can't take care of yourself, right?
Right.
Or even difference in values. But if you know that at least in this particular season of your life, that you don't have the mental emotional
That's
stamina
it.
or
That's it.
capacity,
That's
that
it.
literally you trying to take care of this parent or these parents in this season is actually going to deplete you, then you're not going to be able to do it, and three people are
Mhm.
going to get lost or two
Mhm.
people are going to get lost. And
Mhm.
I think that's really tough because we live in a society where we are, and that's the reason why parents sometimes feel like they're a burden and they try to figure out how to not be. Even if they're not, they can feel like that. Or even you as the child can sometimes feel like, I don't know if I can do this. And if you don't have the emotional capacity or the mental capacity, you got to be forthright about that and
You
just say, hey,
absolutely do.
right now I've got to support you in a different way
Right.
because me doing this is going to take me out. And I didn't realize how much that was happening to our mom, even though she was honored to do, take care of our parents and or my grandparents until their death. It was a lot. And I think it's a lot
It
for
absolutely
anybody. But
was.
when you don't have the capacity, be truthful and find solutions, to do that. So any thoughts on that? And then the bottom line?
No, that actually connects us right to the bottom line because
Yeah.
knowing your capacity is what's most important.
Yeah.
Now, if you're blessed to have a sibling, knowing your
Yeah.
capacity does not mean that you're deficient or can't do it.
That's
Because
good.
even though mom is with you, you still have a capacity threshold. And
Yes.
where your
Yes.
capacity ends, Andre's capacity steps
Yep.
right in and fulfills. So that's one
100%.
of the beautiful things about having a sibling is
Mhm.
everybody knows what they can do. And I know we already talked about it, but that it's
Mhm.
still true to form and it's connected to knowing what you can handle and where
Yeah.
you stop and being able to make the call and be like, hey, your
Yeah,
mother,
come
come
get
get
your
her.
mama.
Come get your mother. I can't. Come get your mother.
Come
Listen,
get your
come get your
pops.
mother. And it can get to that point where I don't even question. I just, oh, okay, yes, put her on the train. Put her on the train.
Yeah.
Tell me when to pick her up.
Tootsie.
And here's the thing. Mom also knows your
Yeah.
capacity because there are going to be
Yeah.
times I know there have been times when mom is just like, hey, I'm gonna come see you this weekend. And I'm thinking to myself, I ain't got nothing special going.
You're right.
Oh,
Oh.
oh, she's sick and tired of her daughter.
She's blinking her eyes through the
Right,
phone.
right. She's blinking twice.
You're right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, just tell me when to pick
Morse
you up.
code.
So, just tell me when to pick you up. Absolutely. So to me, that's also the bottom line. In knowing your
Yeah.
capacity, you also know when to ask for help because it really does
Yes.
take a village, a family village, to raise the
Yeah.
matriarch, the patriarch of the family,
That's good.
in order to make sure that they, again, that end of life is as great as it absolutely can be for them.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
and everyone has something to contribute. I love that. The last thing I wrote here before we get to our quick shot is that, I thought about that scripture, honor thy father and thy mother, because I kept thinking for some of us, the relationship is strained, and you're just thinking, I don't have a reason to want to even consider or be a part of this, that season. And one of the things that one of my therapists always said is, he says, sometimes you honor your parents simply for their DNA,
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
if you didn't have that, you wouldn't be here. Right. And
Amen to
so
that.
sometimes you're healing through all the other stuff that they did or didn't do. Just honor them for the DNA that allowed you to have life. So now you can do it better. Right. Because
Right.
if it weren't for them, you wouldn't even be here. And so, sometimes to get to that bottom line is knowing that you can ask for help. Everyone contributes, and find even that nugget of honor. I
Mhm.
think that help kind of push you through it. So that's been
Amen.
good.
I love
You
it.
ready
I
for the
love it.
quick shot?
Yeah, I'm ready for the quick shot. Mine did not come from Twitter, did not come from any social media whatsoever. It came from the side table, the bills table of my home. I remember last time Mom was here, she was looking at my thermostat. She said, "How does it work?" I said, "Well, the instructions are in that envelope that has SDG&E, San Diego Gas and Electric, but the instructions are only written for the one that pays that bill." And she said,
Right.
"Oh, okay, I'll sit down." I'll sit down. I was like, "Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It's a special language.
That's right, right."
She don't know.
If you don't
You
pay the
haven't learned
bills,
it.
you're not the parent. If you don't pay the bills, you're not the parent. So go
Doesn't
and
that
have a
feel
seat
so
there.
good? It feels
Listen,
so
let me tell you something.
good.
Oh, I got more. I got more. I was like, "Hey, Mom, you want to watch this movie?" Like, yeah. She came over. I said, "Hey, grab that remote right there and bring it to me." So she just, and
She was like, I will not.
No, Nikki. It was in an arm length away from me. It don't matter.
Right.
I was like, "Hey,
And,
Mom,
and your eyes are just glistening. You're just smiling like,
what you want to eat?" "Oh, can we just get something from that restaurant we passed?" I said, "You got some restaurant money?" "Oh,
that
okay.
part.
No. I asked you what you want to eat. I meant go look in the refrigerator and tell me what's in
Tuna
there.
fish.
You want to eat." Right. That's right.
Get that can of tuna.
Right. So those were good moments.
Oh,
Those are great
so
moments for me.
funny. I love it. All right. Well, so when I was kind of unpacking the quick shot, I said I'll stay in the vein of cues that our parents are in need of, and we'll go with kind of the three phases. Is this a situation where they need parenting? Is this a
Mm,
situation where they need coaching?
okay.
Or is
Okay.
this a situation where they need advisement?
Oh Lord.
Okay.
Okay. Okay.
So I'm gonna throw a couple of scenarios, and you can determine, if you think it's one of the three of those. All right. So first one, when your parents forget that they are watching rated R or TV mature content in front of their grandkids.
Oh Jesus.
These
They
are
need
real life
parent.
scenarios.
These are real life scenarios.
These
They
are real
need
life-
parenting. That's parenting right there. Cause listen, the way Nana has shaped my nephew's mind and life, it's scary sometimes. Yeah, no, that is absolutely parenting. That's like,
And,
don't, mm-mm,
and they have
mm-mm.
that moment. They're like, "Wait, how old are you again?" And you're like, "It
Right,
doesn't matter.
right. It
That's
doesn't.
Game of Thrones. That is Game of Thrones."
Right. It doesn't matter. Do you see
that makes me
Cinemax?
blush.
It says
Right.
Cinemax. It says Cinemax.
Sin.
No. No.
Oh, okay, here's another one. When your parents have had several fender benders in 1 month, maybe they ran up on the curb, hit the side of the house, and they refuse to surrender the car keys.
That's advising, and that
Okay.
advisement is I advise you not to drive ever again. That's advisement.
No,
Yeah,
that's parenting. I'm like, give me them keys. Give me them
right.
keys. It's a
Okay,
wrap.
that's
I'm finna
advice.
call. What's the name of that service? The elderly service that takes you everywhere.
Oh Lord.
That white bus. You finna get on that little white minivan and schedule your.
We're gonna
Like,
schedule
no.
your outings.
Listen, you know, Grandpa, he hit the side of the house so many
Oh
times,
my
and he ran up
God.
on the curb.
Oh
I said, Mom, you
Lord.
didn't get his keys. She was like, no. I was like,
Oh yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
When your parents are living with you and you're the adult child, and they ate the last of your favorite food item, like, drank the last of the soda, ate the last of your and they know it's your favorite, and they finished it.
That's a phase that I'm gonna call foster care because it's time for you to live someplace else. Listen.
Adoption.
Listen. That's that phase. That's
Just
that
say,
phase.
I remember Dad used to be on fire
Oh
when
my
we would drink his
gosh.
soda or we would eat his
Oh
Nutter Butter or
man.
his last something.
Oh man.
He'd be, I mean, on fire. And he'd be
Oh.
going up, and they ate that, and that's why I can't have
Right.
nothing.
Yes.
I'd hear him upstairs fussing with Mom because she would
Oh
be like,
man.
"The food is for everyone." No, damn it! He'd be going up. That food
Yes.
is mine. You'd be like,
Yes.
"Father."
Yes.
We'll bleep the cursing out.
Oh my goodness.
All right.
Yeah.
Another one. When your living parents only watch 1 or 2 TV programs, but they will only watch it on the main family TV.
Oh my gosh. That's
Like they have a TV in their room.
yeah. Oh man. Ooh, Jesus. Yeah, I may have to pull from every phase to get to work through this issue. 'Cause
Gunsmoke. What did Grandma used to watch? The soap operas. And you'd be like,
because that's gonna
nobody
be
wants to watch
parenting.
that.
That's parenting because I got to remind them I pay the cable bill. That's a
Right?
little bit of coaching because I got to remind them that this is my house and you have a TV in your room. And that's a little bit of advisement because it's like, now I'm warning you, I don't want to have to talk
Right.
about this again. I don't want to have to talk about, I don't want to have to have this conversation again. So I'm advising you to hear what thus saith the Lord in the 2
right.
first phases.
For your survival.
Right. Lord Jesus.
All right, let's do maybe 1 or 2 more. Okay. Oh, this one. Oh, God. When your parents are offended at your recommendation that they, air quotes, try to use the bathroom before leaving any location. They offended. What do you mean?
That's to me, that's coaching. Like that's coaching because they're not going to allow me to parent them there, right? Because at the end of life, the last thing you can control is your bladder. Once that goes, it's over. So they're going to try to exercise control. I'm not finna fight them. I'm not finna get in that power struggle. So that's coaching. That's going to be like, listen, you know what happened last time?
Together. Let's all go together.
Let's just, come on. We can do this. We can do this.
Every location be like, where's the restroom when we walk in?
It might be a little advisement because listen, I'm only gonna coach, but so far after that, I'm be like, use the bathroom or wear these Depends. And I'm gonna hold them to the package. I'm gonna show them the package. Use the bathroom or wear these Depends. Like this is because what's not gonna happen is I'm not gonna stop.
You're not gonna ruin my car.
I'm not gonna
That's
stop.
what you're not gonna do.
Right.
You're not finna ruin a car. We're not stopping. I love it. And you cough too much not to have some water. So
Right. Absolutely.
Okay. All right, maybe 2 more. Let's see. Oh, this is good. When the grandchildren start to snitch on the grandparents. Example, the grandpa that buys another set of tools that he's been forbidden from buying.
Wait. That's
But keep in mind, that's our parent. That's our parent
that's
with our
parent,
kids.
Yeah. That's parenting because I told you not to buy that. I told you. Yeah.
Listen,
I'll
I
take
think
your
that's
allowance.
when our parents has lost their edge because I never snitched on Grandpa when he would stop and get McDonald's and junk food, and he know he wasn't supposed to have it because he was like, "You want something?" I'm like, "You know I do." So it's our secret. Ain't nobody. This dies with me. Like ain't nobody gonna know, Grandpa.
By you biting in this chicken nugget, you are entering into a contract, an unspoken contract. You keep your mouth closed, I'll keep your mouth full.
All right, this will be the last one. And let me not just we've all been there, I think, as your parents get older. When your parents, air quotes, forget to take a shower or change the outfit that they've worn, maybe 2 or 3 days in a row. If you haven't experienced it, trust me.
I must say that's advisement. And this is the reason why. I don't want to be too involved in that process. So I'm gonna stay in the advisement process. Because if I do more than advise, I'm gonna move to coach. And if I have to do more than coach, then I'm gonna move to parenting. And
I don't want to help you clean
I don't
your
want to
bottom.
help. I don't want to help. So I'm gonna stay in advisement in this one. Listen.
Oh God.
When I start to wear this gas mask around the house, when I start to talk to you on only through text.
Oh
Like,
God.
yeah, listen.
And listen, to be fair, we already talked about getting ready for bed versus going to bed. I know that sometimes those things are
Mm,
challenging, but I have had full on conversation where I was like, and I've got a middle school boy, which y'all know middle school, they're getting into the stinkiness because their bodies
right,
are changing and they
right.
still don't quite want to, practice
Yeah.
hygiene. So I was like, I don't have the patience for both of y'all.
Both y'all can't stink. You gotta take turns. Nana Monday, Wednesday. Malachi Thursday, Friday.
Y'all gonna get in this tub and
but
baptize your booty.
but at least 3 times a week, y'all gonna shower. Tuesday, Saturday, and Sunday. You better
Oh
shower on the
God.
Lord's day.
I love it. So, all right, I know we're running a little long. So, bro, what you have for the final blow?
It's so interesting, and it's just the way this conversation goes, that we've used that word honor so many times. And we know it to kind of stem from what we've, read in the Bible, that Exodus piece, honor thy mother and father, that your days may be long in the land that God is giving you. The funny thing about honor, right, is honor looks at the entire span of the experience, the encounter, the relationship with our parents. So were your parents, were your parents perfect? Absolutely not. But what honor does is look at the entire expansion of the life and simply be able to say, was God able to work through this person, mother, this person, father, and make me better? Right? It's that because it was never about their perfection. Dad was not perfect, but am I better having had him as my father? Yes. Mom is not perfect, but am I better having had her as my mother? Yes. That is why I honor, because their existence in my life made me better. So then when I even look at what God is saying there, honor your mother and your father. Why? Because they made you better. And watch this, your days will be long in the land I'm giving you. Now, I want to make sure that makes sense. Your days will be long in the land God is giving you, not that he has given you. Because if all I do is look at my parents as a memorial, then I might not be able to honor them. But if I look at my parents as a progression of who they are through me and what greatness they brought out of me, that's the is. So honoring our parents is a forward-thinking thing. Therefore, this end of life cycle, this moment where we say now the child becomes the parent, it's also got to be a forward thinking. Remember, we talked a lot about the mindset, the forward thinking. Honoring our parents is forward thinking. It wasn't about perfection. It was about you really brought out, what did you produce? What did God allow you to produce in me as a result of my experience in you? So I want to just kind of sketch out of 30 seconds for those who may be looking at your parents and saying, but my mom wasn't there, my dad wasn't there, my mom used drugs, my dad had spent time in prison. How do I honor that? My resolve, my answer to you is did God allow you to forgive them? Then that's how it made you better. Did God allow you to look at your life and say, I'm not going to go that route? Then that's what made you better. Did God allow you to become a better parent because of what your experience was with them? Then that's what allowed you to be better, which means you still have room to find honor in them, find love for them, find peace in that relationship, find forgiveness so that you can be better. Because at some point, at that cycle comes full circle, who you allowed yourself to be, and hopefully it's better and not bitter, will then allow a relationship with who your child is going to be when you're going to need to be parented as well. So honor is such a forward progression cycle that we got to do it, regardless of how imperfect our parents were. Still honor them. Still absolutely honor them, because your days to come, and the places where God is going to put you, they're going to be blessed when you give honor to your parents, no matter what. And that would definitely be my final thought here, hopefully in the conversation is honor your parents. Honor your parents.
I love it. Wonderful final blow. So, with that, we've come to the end of the episode. As always, we thank you guys so much for joining us. Please help us build the Savage Siblings community. Like, share, comment, rate, subscribe.
All that.
Send this to your favorite Savage sibling. Perhaps you have a because I told you so moment that you want to
Right.
share regarding your parents. Or maybe you have thoughts on when, children become the parents that you want to share. Or maybe there's an episode topic you think we should tackle. Share that with us. Let us know. We're interested in hearing from you. Huge shout out to our amazing team of people that make all of this possible.
Yeah.
Dwayne McClendon, Kyle Davis, our sound editors and post-production supervisors. Ronnie Maxwell of Maxwell Music. Our music producer, Keith Cross of K Cross Photography, for all the amazing photos. And huge shout out to my niece Daniela designing our website, and just so many other people that have just been encouraging us and pushing us forward. And of course, we honor our parents, Gene and Dolores Evans, for your DNA and all the funny life lessons that we get to exploit here. And of course, last but not least, the listeners. So glad you're always here. Please go and have a wonderful day. And remember, don't go through life alone. We'll see you next time.
Peace.